Hey guys, welcome back to mantalk.ke. Thank you for joining us again. Before we kick off, apologies for last week. We know there was no episode, but go to our Instagram on one of our latest posts and you'll get the whole story of why we went around to film. But we're back and that's what's most important. And this is a very special episode for two reasons. Number one, we have a special guest. And number two, we have a special sponsor. So you've been seeing on our Instagram, on our lives, we've been talking about Jinsamin a lot. And they're going to be sponsoring this episode as well. They're actually the people that gave us the topic to speak about. That's how aligned we are. So today's episode is all about performance anxiety. And if you're part of the Mantalk community, you know all about Steve, who comes in our lives and tells us all about the psychology behind the topics we tackle. So I'll let him introduce himself and then we'll crack on with talking about a little bit about Jinsamin. So Steve, can you introduce yourself?
So thank you. My name is Stephen Gure. I'm a psychologist. I work with the KCPA, the Kenya Counseling and Psychology Association. And yeah, we're here for a chat.
Yeah, very exciting to finally, it's rarely that we ever get an audience member. I think you're the first audience member we've actually brought on set. And, one of the reasons why we thought of Mantalk as we did is to kind of give, young professionals a platform to also tell us, about their lives and also tell us about their experiences. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to leverage your experience here today. And I just want to welcome you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thanks for coming. So that's the one special guest. The other one is our sponsor. So Jinsamin, their company ethos is all about taking charge of your life, and that means in every aspect. Now, when you go through life, you need energy for different parts of your day, of your evening. And Jinsamin have a supplement that me and Oscar, actually all three of us here, have been taking. We started after we engaged with them. You've been taking it for a while. And the idea is, when you're living high stress life, sometimes you can lack in vitamins and minerals. So taking Jinsamin, their whole thing is taking charge and having the energy to go through your day. So as well as that, they like to talk about mental health. This is Mental Health Month. And one of the things I think guys do struggle with is expectation and performance, right? And that's how the whole topic that they suggested about performance anxiety we're going to tackle. So I think the first point to start with is, what is performance anxiety? Because I know it triggers a certain thought when you say performance anxiety, but it's broader than that. It's much broader than just sexual. So we want to tackle it as a broad topic. So I think best place to start is ask Steve to just define performance anxiety for guys so they know what we're talking about today.
So performance anxiety is the feel, or these feelings come from a point of lack of inadequacy of performance or lack of self-faith. The feelings come from the lack of performance from the self. It comes basically from self, whereby you believe that you are not capable of performing, where you feel that all this that you can do, you lack the faith of yourself deep from within. That's what we call performance anxiety. You don't believe that you can do something and it works. You can't believe that. You have basically self-trust issues.
But what if you're actually capable, but your mind is telling you you're not capable? Because it could be that, you're nervous going into something, but when you get there, you realize you've actually got the faculties to do it. But if you're anxious, it's sounding like your faculties still won't even perform, even if you can physically do it. I'll just kick off with an example of myself, right? So I've played a lot of sport in my lifetime, and I used to find that I played football. So when I go to a new team, to train with a new team, the nerves that you have, even though you know you're very competent in your position, you know the game inside out, you get there, it's new people, and your body doesn't actually respond, and you start making really silly mistakes, very silly mistakes, like your first touch of the ball's coming, and for some reason, you're not doing what you can do in training. So that's what I've seen, a practical example where I've got the faculties, I can do it, but my head is not connecting. So what is that? My body not connecting to my mind, and then I can't.
You see, as you've said it, your body not connecting to your mind.
Yeah.
Meaning it's all in the head.
Because I know I can do it. I can do that first touch.
So it's where you place your thoughts and basically how you self-value yourself.
There's always been a ton of questions that I've personally faced when it comes to performance anxiety, and there's a big relationship between that performance anxiety and high performance environments. For example, my career life, I've always worked in, let's say, sales jobs, legal. So that means that your kind of value, because your value within an organization is based very much on performance. Jinsamin is sponsoring us And we had a conversation with, the country manager, and he said that, when he's doing budgets is the most stressful time for him because, budgets are directly proportional to reward. And you see that performance anxiety that comes from organizations. Do you think that there's a probability that that can bleed into other parts of your life?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
As a man,
as you've said it,
yeah.
It touches every aspect of your life, be it family, work. You'll find yourself failing in everything, and yet you're also good at it.
What? That's a tough thing to say, man.
Yeah, yeah. You're failing in everything, and you're so good at it.
Yeah.
So it's like a ripple
It touches
effect.
all round, all aspects of life. Maybe your career, sales are going low. You're a good marketer. You're a good lawyer. Man, you know how it goes there. Things are going south, but yet your reputation precedes you.
Yeah.
And that's added pressure.
Yeah.
And that's added pressure. Exactly.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're even maybe even a director, and your things are not cutting. What is it? It's the performance anxiety. You see the value from yourself, how you view yourself, how you take your intrapersonal relationships.
Oh, okay. Deep that. What exactly does an interpersonal relationship
Interpersonal relationship means how you relate with yourself, within yourself, for yourself.
I have a question. But does it work to just lie to yourself? Does lying to yourself work? Because I feel like you could make a narrative that's going to help you and actually propel you. If you're actually not feeling it deep down, but you can just psyching yourself up work to get through this performance anxiety, or do you have to actually do the internal, the long, arduous work of having that conversation with yourself and developing yourself and knowing what's going on and being conscious of it? Or can you sort of fake it?
Basically, what you're trying to say is it's like you're finding a place of relievement within your mind.
Right.
It's like closing your eyes and you want peace, and then you think of a calm river, a very serene place, trees, the wind is blowing.
Oh, Steve.
Steve, don't take us there.
Yeah. So it's the same thing as what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're just taking your mind to a better place and using the right thoughts that will trick you to performing.
But is it temporary? Can that be a long-term solution?
No, it's temporary.
Yeah.
The permanent thing that you can find to this is when you address the main thing from deep within and be real with yourself.
That's such a strong thing because it ties. There's a two-prong issue with that specific statement you said. Being honest with yourself and having that radical honesty to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and to be truthful about your own life, let alone even your performance. Because as men, that's the first thing. As men, we struggle a lot with our ego, and because our ego will project a certain self to us, and that self might not be necessarily who we are. And if we don't marry our lives with that self, you get what I mean? If you're constantly telling yourself, I'm the best lawyer, I'm the best doctor, and then you go through a slump in your life, you see, don't you think that a man's ego can really like scrape his performance in the sense that it'll become this self-defeating cycle where like, because I'm not performing, I feel bad. And now that I feel bad, I'm not performing. So it generates this
feedback loop, no?
Yeah, this feedback loop that's very negative. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. And how can men break that specific cycle? Because in society today, I find that most of us are measured by, as men, we're measured by how we perform. Like if you're the one in a position of authority, then you are assumed to be the most competent. And if you are the most competent, then everything else in your life flows from that. The people now give you respect, give you money, and they give you all the accoutrements that come with, authority and competence. So how can men basically create value within themselves without necessarily focusing on their performance and do that outside of an ego that can destroy that performance in the beginning?
Yeah.
Basically, I understand the ego of a man is really not to be touched.
Yeah.
It's basically that.
Okay.
But that's how the society has puts it.
Okay.
Like, that's how the society puts it.
Yeah.
Like, not everyone doesn't want to be recognized.
Yeah.
We want to be recognized. It's a basic human need
Yeah.
of recognition. when we speak about ego and performance, look at it this way. When you flame your ego, when it's very flamed, and you fail, what is hurt? Your ego. What's your ego? Your personality. It touches you as a person. But how do you get through all this? The basic answer is simple. How you value and assess yourself from the reality of time and life.
Okay.
In this sense, I know I can take this 1, 2, 3 things. Maybe this has hurt me. How will you go from there? Because you can't tell me that everything in life will be always positives and always negatives. There's always a sauna and fauna. There's always a balance. So for you basically to feel the need that, yes, this has hurt me, and then it'll go against the work. No, have a balance. Yes, this has hurt me. Yes, it has hurt me. But am I still capable of doing the same thing? Is it still not the same person who could make this and correct it? Your feelings are hurt. And the more you dwell on your feelings, look at what happens, and not addressing them, you'll transfer the same energy to your workplace.
Yeah. To your spouse.
To everyone. To everyone.
Yeah.
Even the village headmen. Everyone.
Everyone will know you're in pain.
Everyone will know that you're in pain.
Yeah.
Everyone. Why? Because you haven't addressed the feeling of hurt. Let me ask you a simple question. Why do you think those high in power, when they want something, are you getting me?
Yeah.
And then they fail it. They miss it. Even if it's by a whisker, they miss it. Everyone beneath them, including dogs, feel the heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, if targets are missed,
If it's missed, even dogs will know this man is not in the right place. Why? Because the feelings and the need, the hierarchy of needs of a man have not been addressed.
But is it that, like I said, a lot of the environments that have come from are high performance environments. So like the reason why you'll feel that heat is not necessarily because of the guy's own ambition. It's most likely, okay, there's a fact of that, of course, but it's most likely because of the pressure that person is also under.
Yes.
Because you see, the higher and more competent you are, the more people trust you with high value work. And you see that high value work requires adherence to certain timelines. Like if you're not able to adhere to those timelines and if you're not able to perform, then you have a reputational injury, you have an organizational injury, and that person who's at the top is the one who bears the brunt of it most of the time, because that's what it means to be responsible, especially for an organization. So
let me use an example.
Okay.
Let me use an example.
Yeah.
From what you said.
Yeah.
All you've spoken about is different forms of pressure.
Okay, go.
In one container.
Different forms of pressure in one container.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because in the same organization, you are in that pressure. This is working. This is not working. This is not working. If this doesn't work, this doesn't work. If this doesn't work, this also doesn't work. You're in that pressure.
Yeah.
You're in that pressure. And how do you contain and relieve the same pressure? Stems back to you as a person. Self-value, self-esteem, self-assessment. Those are the 3 key areas that you can evaluate yourself with.
Okay.
What's my value? It's you looking at yourself, within yourself, and knowing what works for you.
I feel like though with guys, Steve, that's a hard thing to do.
Exactly.
That's a very hard thing to do, to have that kind of conversation, because that takes a level of vulnerability that typically we're not exposed to.
Yeah.
So you'd be like, okay, I'm performing. You would chalk it up to, it's this mistake, it's everything exterior. But for a guy to say, no, wait a minute, maybe there's something inside me that's because it's very hard for a guy to admit that it's his fault, especially when you're talking about high performance jobs, etc. Unless you're seeing it on a graph that you've gone wrong, it's hard for you to say it's not that, it's me that's making my performance go down. So what are like practical steps that a guy can take? Because telling a guy to be introspective is broad. It's very broad. What are like practical things a guy can do? Say, I'm not performing at my job. How do I have that conversation? What's like, because for me, I do affirmations, right? That's for myself. I have literal talks. But what are other things that guys can physically do to start the process of being introspective? So I think that's where they need to start, right?
Yeah, to turn themselves into performers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me put it in this way. I'll answer you in this way. Every man needs to take care of themselves. Are you taking care of your thoughts? Are you taking care of yourself? Because all this stems from the mind. You see, there's no easier way to tell a truth than saying the truth.
Very true.
There's no easier way of saying the truth, of telling the truth, rather than saying the truth. And the truth of the matter is, how do you see yourself from your mind? Are you real with yourself?
I think that's the main problem. We're not
That's the main problem.
Yeah.
Because the minute you start, remove all the clouding of the judgment with your ego, the performance, blah, blah, blah. Come to you as a person. Who am I? Look at the mirror. Who am I? Who am I?
But
Who
that
are
same
you?
mirror is where you go and you start telling yourself, you're a gangster, you're this, you're this. That's
Yeah,
the same
that's
way you
the
go
thing.
and lie. It's the same mirror.
Yeah, because like
the same
that's
mirror.
the thing. That's the problem I'm also having. In terms of separating those two, because like high performance and environments are extremely rewarding if you're able to deliver. Like the byproduct of a performing person, even if they create a false ego or a false perception of who they are, a false persona, of who they are in order to achieve those goals. It's a very self-reinforcing system because and again, it's also self-defeating because if you're performing if you're achieving in your life, everybody around you applauds you. Everyone around you goes, yeah, keep going.
Until.
You keep going. So you'll keep chasing that next goal. And then you'll hit that wall. There's a probability, or you won't even hit it at all. Because at the end of the day, you'll find that maybe you'll discover yourself, but then you'll discover yourself having been a winner. And then there are those people who, they start to fail. And because it's also a self-defeating system, they've now depended on that, that validation that's external, they now begin to decline. That's the thing that's the most dangerous, I think, especially for high performers. Like if you, for example, like personally in my own life, I've had the privilege of going to certain schools. And, in these schools, it's, and we were having a conversation with some classmates actually just recently, who now we are certainly meeting each other after like a decade of life. In these schools, what we are told is, you're destined for great things. You're destined to be fantastic. You're an outlier. Even the fact that you're here means that you're great. Then you graduate, and then you get exposed to people who have other privileges that are even stronger and more tangible than yours. And then you try to push against the grain. Like I have a friend who told me he went to study in Turkey. He was in the best high school in Nairobi, but he's now gone to study in Turkey. His first calculus class, the kids who were in Turkey in high school had done a specific unit. So somebody lifts his hand and asks a question in class and says, hey, teacher, this formula that you've done like this, do you think that the alternative to do it is this or this or this way? To him, his mind is like, wow, that's such a bright question. Because you see, he doesn't know. But that guy is told by the lecturer, come on, that's high school mathematics. You can't have me teaching university graduates, high school grads, that math. If you want me to teach you that, come to my office. Do you know, he was so far behind from everyone else that like he actually felt that, the weight of that. So he had to keep working on himself. And this was an like top student who I was with in high school. So I feel, but my question to you is, how can we as men like get to the point where we separate ourselves from that need to perform and that external validating system? What methods are there in, let's say, in your profession that can assist someone to live their life away from their need to perform? Because it's just causing us as men a lot of stress.
Okay, for once and foremost, it's the same way as, a human being needs to breathe.
Yeah.
You need to take a break. A self-assessment break. Off job, off everything. You and your life in one book, where you'll only see yourself as yourself, within yourself.
So what you're saying is have that moment with yourself. But if you're living Monday to Friday, it doesn't say you can do that. It's literally going opposite of everything that's helping you succeed and attain what you want. Yeah. So that's, again, it's like a practical step, but it's going to be hard for a guy to say, no, let me stop.
It's very hard. It's particularly hard for...
so hard.
for performing, I don't know.
To stop performing.
It's so hard.
I have an analogy. We love analogies.
Yeah.
Imagine telling Ronaldo, don't play the final. You're tired.
You're tired.
What?
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not even don't play the final. Not just that example. It's the thing I'm telling you. Because as men, what we're valued as based on is how well we perform in society. How well do you bring the bread home? How well do you relate to others? How good are you in authority? How competent are you? How respected are you? Like, that's how much value society has given us. And even now, the worst thing is that over time, because it's like everybody's giving you the same, oh my God, congratulations, oh my God, it gets in your head. And even you start valuing yourself that way.
Yeah.
So you see, it takes for us, because like I always like to think that we are not, I've not met many men who are as willing to sit down with themselves and to be introspective. Because again, we're also very competitive animals. We can be introspective about love and relationships, but telling a guy to be introspective about his career, because it's black and white. It's like, yo, last week you didn't make sales. You've missed 3 deadlines in a row. You know, it's like,
tell your boss I haven't had a word of myself yet.
Yeah. You can, unless your boss is very empathetic, because you see now we're in an age where we have millennials in life. Yeah, and maybe you and I as bosses, but I can tell you the truth. A client won't want to hear that I'm going through. You know what I mean? He'll even tell his friends, like, that guy, he has issues. And that's where the stigma that comes with mental health comes in, and that can really affect your business. So
can I put it a bit deeper?
Okay.
Can I go a bit deeper?
Yeah, let's go.
Every human being, as I'm putting it, has a sense of intuition. Listen to it daily. It's more clearer than the call that you make to your own mom. Swallow that.
Yeah. Do you know what? The thing.
Guy.
Yeah, that was deep. That was deep. The thing that we've just said about, performance, etc. Blah blah blah. I'll talk about myself personally, right? I feel like as soon as I had a better relationship with failure, I had a better relationship with my high performance, because it didn't mean everything to me. When I started to like see failure and experience it and be like, okay, then on the back of the failure, I look and I go, oh my, how much did I get from that? Like, it's amazing what I've taken from that quote unquote failed experience. When I started doing that, now even when I'm performing high, I don't look at it like this is the be all end all, because I know there might be failure on the other side.
Yeah.
And when I get to that failure, if I did this failure, I can do that next one. And personally for me, I've found that that's helped help balance me, because before, even this happened about 5 years ago, but before that, if I wasn't performing like we're saying, then there's nothing. What else am I living for? And when the first failure came, I was like, what on earth is this? Yeah. Like, I'm not talking school. I'm talking like life. Like, you got to a point where your bank account doesn't look like it's supposed to. You can't do things you wanted to do, and this is all because of your quote unquote doing, right? So when I was in that position, like, how did we get here? And I said, it's because of me. That was huge for me.
Yeah.
That was huge.
Do you know what? Yeah. Because I've been in that similar position. I've been in that same exact position where something happened in my life that just rattled everything. Yeah. Like, everything just rattled. And you know, the thing about it is, it's not based on anyone. You can't look at anyone and say, it's your fault, it's her fault, it's his fault.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when you do your analysis, it's like, it's my fault. Like, I didn't do what I needed to do at the time I needed to do it. And when you get to that point, especially as a guy, it can be a very crushing place to be in life. Yeah. It's extremely crushing as a guy.
But rewarding.
But now here's now what happens next. What happens next is you'll tell yourself, like, for me, I personally remember the moment. Because there's that moment where I was like, at what point in my life did I decide that this is okay? I remember the moment, like, at what point did I decide, not making X is okay? Not having a certain personality is okay. Not having my own self-confidence is okay. Why on earth am I waiting for everyone around me to tell me that I'm a fantastic person? When I hit that point, I said, there's no way in hell I'll ever find myself there again. And like, ever since, it's just been. That's why the reason why you're seeing I'm getting a bit agitated when we say like men should be introspective is because I don't, that capacity for introspection, there's a lot of guys who live their lives not having experienced a failure. That's absolute. There's failure that is partial. You know, there's a failure that you'll get that's like, you know, it's because of A, B, C, D,
there's a net.
external environment. Yeah, there's a safety net.
Yeah.
So you won't need to be introspective, but face a failure that is absolute, like zero. Like the game was zero sum. You lost the game. Despite all of the effort that you've put in, it's zero sum. When you go to that place, that seventh circle of hell, that seventh circle of hell, then you will really find yourself there.
It's so necessary. And you know what I've realized as well is getting to that 7 circles of hell is normally on the back of striving so much for excellence that you neglect yourself. Which is the whole point we're talking about Jinsamin today. Because now when I've, like the manager you're talking about, now when I know that something's coming, I don't look at that as that's the most important thing. It's the person that's going to be taking that journey is the most important thing. That's why things like nutrition, exercise, etc. became a massive factor of my life. Stuff like supplements became a massive factor of my life, because if I'm trying to achieve it and I fail because I'm not taking care of the vehicle, then what's the point of the journey? You know?
And like taking care of yourself is something that I also find like extremely vital. Because it's not just taking care of yourself in the sense of like being introspective. It's also the fact that you have an environment around you that's enabling. You know what I mean? Because like you can decide to be a high performer, but if you're a high performer amongst drunkards, then you will perform amongst the drunkards. But if you're a high performer with people who are like genuinely serious about taking their lives to the next level, if you are among them, you will perform. If you're among them, you will perform, and you will perform in a way that's tangible to you. And you know, that's something that you won't realize until the day you make that switch. Because you see, even the people around you will realize this guy is a bit different now. Like he talks different, he thinks different, and then they'll be like, I want to accompany him on this journey, and then you will take more. And slowly by slowly, your environment starts to change. And even in doing that, your performance will start to improve. Like for example, you'll start to see like people who are like, they're less in the partying crowd in the clubbing scene because they're constantly working Saturday to Sunday, Monday to Sunday. We went on that work-life vacation recently, and when you ask people, bro, when was the last time you had time to yourself? This guy is telling you it's been Sunday to Sunday. It's been back to back for the past 3-4 years. And you're like, you know, and you're like, wow, you know, you can see his life and the results. You're like, wait, even me, I need to take myself seriously. I need to also enter that next level. And if you're with people who would look down upon you when you fail at it, that's when now you enter that self-defeating cycle. Because people will now, your environment, it will show you that the entire time when you are performing, these people who are around you weren't around you because of you. They were around you because of what you generate, the byproducts of your success. That's why they were around you. And then when they leave, you're like, oh my God, like that external validating system is gone. Just go. Come on.
So I think the question is, how important is, like you mentioned, like the supplements and everything on the external that you're putting into your body, and how important is the environment that body is in when it comes to performance anxiety?
Okay, basically, I would like to put it in this way. As I've said, we are human beings, and we would like to treat each other the same way as human beings. And so in this sense, that when you are going through performance anxiety, what happens? The chemistry of your hormonal balance shifts. Look at it this way. All the happy hormones, oxytocin, dopamine, they go down. They go down. The same hormones that help even students perform. You can sit for exam and perform. The happy hormones, the dopamine, they go down when you go through the same cycle of anxiety. So how do you need to do this to change everything back? But before I touch on that, there's something I wouldn't like to pass me between you two that I would wish everyone to learn. You started it, your story, he started his story. From your story, there was a lot of learning and unlearning.
Very true.
Same as his. Something I would like everyone to do and deal with. I wouldn't like to let that pass, like honestly. It's a teachable thing that you have said practically, that as a man, I can unlearn and learn. I can unlearn and learn. And what I can tell you again is, be soft to yourself. Carry yourself like a baby.
Baby boy.
Baby boy. Sweet boy.
Sweet boys.
Sweet boys.
Please. Why am I saying that? Because in the unlearning process, oh boy,
It's painful.
it's painful.
It's painful.
Yeah.
And you may even question your whole
Reality.
reality.
Yeah. It's man.
That's
like,
why I'm saying-
you've taken it just to a place that for me was like really. There was a time in my life, like I said, like I'd created this false narrative. So like everyone around you has created this self-validating system. Now everybody, everyone's like, oh, you're great, you're fantastic, and then just something shifts, and then you're like, this is the gap. This is the gap,
And you feel it.
Yeah, this is the gap between who I am and who I perceive myself to be.
Yeah.
And then there's also the gap between who I am now and where who I am now personally and where I thought I would be at this stage. Yeah. So there's a gap between who I am and who I perceived myself to be. And then there's a gap between who I am now and what I expect myself to be. You see, there's two, those are two different gaps.
Yeah.
So you see, you look at yourself and you're like, yo, I'm not meeting my own expectations. There's a gap there. Then there's the one where it's like, this is where I am today. This is where I thought I was. You see, that trifecta, at that stage in my life, I was like, wow, like it's like literally a trench. Yeah. And everyone around you probably won't see it and probably won't understand like why you're not probably performing or why you're not serving a certain
They're clapping
goal.
for you the whole time.
They're
you can
clapping
do it,
for
right?
you.
You can do it consistently.
You can do it. You can do it. You can be consistent.
But again, my big question is, are you living in the present?
Yes, actually, that's a good question. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Actually, I am living in the present. I tell myself every day, today is now. The time is now. Tomorrow, there's no tomorrow. now, today. Buy the shirt today. But the reason why, when you ask me, am I living the present? It's because of that realization.
Yeah.
That like we create certain narratives in our minds that self-deception that we like to give ourselves. It can be good for a time, but the danger is when you start to revel in it. If you start like drinking your own Kool-Aid, believing your own nonsense, it becomes really, really dangerous because like the gap. And Eli was there when I was going through an assignment that where I usually work. Like I was going through an assignment that was really tough, and I have a mentor who's I have a mentor who's literally it. That thing that you've always wanted to be, and he's putting years of work. Like for me, it takes me like a month to do what he can do in an hour. You get what I mean? If he really applies himself, 1 hour, it's a month of work. Like what will take me a month of research, and I might do that month of research. I might even lead people towards a whole. And he'll just one conversation with him can set you so straight. And because I didn't have the self-awareness to know, like I'm flying blind here. I ended up like not being exactly where I need to be. And you see that quality, that introspection, that self-awareness, you can't have that if you're not constantly in the now.
And one thing I'd give you credit for as well, and I said this to you, is the reaction to the situation we're talking about for you wasn't I'm not good enough. It was like, that's what I need to be.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, because that reaction can either be to your detriment or it can be energy to propel you. Because you took that like, no, I need to now, that's the gap you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's now what I need to achieve.
Like, it was like, for me, it was like, okay, because there was an academic thing that I wanted to take, like a step I need to take academically. Should I go study and stuff? For me, that finalized it. Because it was like, this guy is like on a whole other level. Like, because of the environments he surrounded himself in, the people he surrounded himself with, and the amount of knowledge he carries. It's like, that there's a 7-8 year gap between me and him in terms of age. But if I'm not careful and judicious with my time, and I'm not careful with myself, I'm not performing today. And that this ties back to our topic. I'm not performing at that level yet. But if I invest in myself today, I'll definitely get those outcomes tomorrow. And that's especially in a career when you're young, it takes a lot of humility. It takes a lot of like reality, real checks. Like this is the level of my skill. This is as far as I can go. I have met the sharks. No matter how hard I push myself, this is and the reality is just as far. That is my ceiling. Wild.
Wild. And you see, the beauty of what he said is one thing. And I would like to also point it out in a very good phrase. There's a phrase I had, when something works and you're hearing it's working, rinse and repeat.
Yeah. Yeah, very true.
Don't go and make a new will or something.
Yeah.
Take the courage. Look at two things. What is available and what is workable. And then from there, learn from the best. Rinse and repeat.
Learn from the best. I think that's a very strong one.
Learn from the best.
Learn from the best.
Learn from the best.
That's a very strong, because I feel like as men, when we're constantly told, you're told, perform. But what's the standard, bro?
Yeah.
Like, what's the standard? Like, suddenly you're here, social media is setting the standard for you.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we've gone out, we've had a good time, we've seen a yacht. But do you know what it took? Like, for us to get to that level? Like, how many weekends we've had to like work back to back? Or you've gone and you've seen, let's say, someone else, someone's girlfriend is getting that, their nails done or being taken to places.
Yeah.
You don't know, like, there's no standard. Like, social media and this society has put this pressure on men. Like, oh, you're not really a man if you're not performing. And it's like, that's a heavy burden. You don't know, that's a very heavy burden for a lot of men to carry. Because the reaction that you get now from men is, because they've managed to hit that level of performance and go through the pressure and the stress, now they punish, the people in the relationships they're in. They're like, yo, but I'm this type of man. Why are you not in the kitchen making me sandwiches? I'm that type of man. You put the burden on me to provide and to be a performer. I'll also put the burden on you to be a homemaker.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Tough. Like,
In terms of now touching sort of on performance, we mentioned Ronaldo, right? And we know that if someone's in a certain field of football, you need to, it's the third time I mentioned football, but you need to be living a certain way to perform at that level. What are some things that guys mess up on? Because for me, I mentioned, I didn't have time to even eat properly. I didn't have time to, do the quote unquote talking to myself, being calm in the mornings. What are things guys can do? Because I've mentioned exercise, I've mentioned, supplements, I've mentioned having that time to yourself. What other things guys can do so that, yes, you don't want performance to be the be all end all, but while you're performing, at least do it with the right equipment, at least do it with the right lifestyle. What are things guys can practically do in their lives to help them perform? Because you need to perform
Yeah.
at a certain level.
True.
Yeah.
So I'll begin by first saying, the environment you live in will determine the amount of growth you'll have.
Is that people or like a physical?
No, first of all, there's the people, and also again the physical place, because there are physical places that are really therapeutic. Honestly, maybe you are going through something and then you just decide to leave, and just seeing a new scenery changes the perspective.
Very true. We're having that right now.
Yeah.
After coming back.
We are running on. Hey.
Yeah, we're still on. I think I've still got a glow. No?
Yeah.
So that's the first thing, and then secondly, and the other now environment of where, if you're working, who surrounds you.
Okay.
Who surrounds you?
Yeah.
There's a saying that meet 3 more people and I'll know who you are from them.
Yeah.
The same thing. Then working mates you have around, their thoughts, listen, their thoughts, their notions, their perspectives will impact you in more or less than one ways, consciously and subconsciously. Maybe you have been, as Oscar was saying a while back, you relating to him or him relating to you has changed him in one way or another, consciously and subconsciously. Maybe he wants to say something and his mind can expose.
Yeah.
It's not him. It's the relation. Because it's for every human being, you have to hold each other to grow somewhere. No man is an island.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it doesn't mean that every person you are with, you should also be with the same level they are in. Get me right.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is this. If you see the environment you are in is toxic, leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you remember there's an incident we had where in the car I asked you, where the hell are we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we had to change the environment quickly.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Like the both of us there was an incident we had where like we were like, because we had met some people and you're just chilling and then you end up in their environment and then we just realized, wait a minute.
Yeah. And if you're passive,
Yeah.
they can take control and
they
drive
take control.
you down.
Yeah, they take control, and then because the moment we realized where we were, it was like, look at where we are.
Yeah.
Look at where everyone else is.
Yeah.
What the hell are we here?
Yeah.
Why is it that me and you are here?
Yeah.
And we just
change the environment straight away.
immediately, and we are back to our lives. Like,
Yeah.
it's actually
It's very
crazy.
true. Yeah.
It's actually crazy. When you said that thing where it's like, your relationship with people actually like leads you to certain places. I'm a big believer of that. Like I'm a huge believer of if you're constantly in a certain place, like you're constantly clubbing, partying, and there's nothing wrong with it. But like if you're constantly doing it and at the expense of your time and at the expense of like your relationships and your environment, I'm telling you, you will go there. You know, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. You don't even think that you're headed towards a place that's like, you know, detrimental to you and to your personality. So you'll end up there and you'll ask yourself, how the hell did I even end up here? So for me, I'm very sensitive about the environments like that I get placed in, because I realized also earlier on that when I was going through what I was going through when I was younger, it was like one of the reasons why I suffered unnecessary and unusual pain and loss was because it's not because of anyone else. It's because like I've developed a tolerance. You get what I mean? You've developed a tolerance for certain environments, and you can't, like, you actually can't have that tolerance. How are you out here drinking and partying when there's something expected on Saturday evening? You get what I mean? Can't be.
So the first thing, as I've said, very true, is the environment. With people, that one is very key, because you see, you can be toxic and nobody knows. In fact, everyone thinks it's normal for you to be toxic. In fact, everyone thinks it's normal.
That's just
that's how he speaks. And then you blend in. And then you start speaking the same toxicity. You drink from the same well, all of you become the
poisoned.
Same thing. And you see, at times, men are their own poisons. We are our own poisons.
This is true.
And also our own healers.
That's you're not lying.
It's tough to hear, but it's true.
It's true. Because if you find a place whereby it's toxic and you know, you have seen, the funny thing, let me show you how the world works. You have been through consistent toxicity, and then you find a place where it's utmost healing solitude. In fact, it's the best environment you wish your children will grow in. Your children, not even you, your own children can grow in. Your thoughts have gone even to your children. And you're like, wow, that's them. Now, the big question is, what are you doing there? You have a glimpse to see. Change it.
Very true. So environment.
First thing is environment.
Okay.
Then secondly, we got the other thing. Self-assessment. We have to at least allow ourselves as men, learn to be vulnerable. That's the key. Learn.
What does it mean to be vulnerable as a man?
Telling yourself the truth and nothing else but the truth, without fear of pain, ego, and nothing else.
Yeah, good answer.
Very concise.
Somebody asked us in a conference, when you tell men to be vulnerable, do you mean they should cry?
When he said, what are tears?
What are tears? And then now he has his answer. So thank you.
Yeah. You know who you are.
He has his answer. So shout out to you.
I really want you to touch on because I'm really big on like physical health as well. I really want you to touch on that link between performance and your physical health, what's going inside your body. Because I think for some people that, introspective might seem like a step 3, but maybe they can be like, what should I be putting inside me? What should I be avoiding? I know you're not a nutritionist, but I know there's elements that cross over. Yeah.
So when it comes to physical health and mental health, and also the pressure that it comes with, maybe you're dealing with anxiety, one way or another, as I've said, your hormones shift. The dopamine will go low and the oxytocin will go low. And so, how do you raise it again? I mean, you cannot just go eating junk foods. You have to take a break. Eat right. Exercise a bit. Have a walk. Are you getting me? Like just at least move a bit. It'll even ease the tension of your back if you're stressed, of your neck if you're also stressed. It'll move a bit. You'll feel there's a change.
Movement is so
because the more you move.
Okay,
sorry to cut you short, but the more you move, the more you increase the oxygen intake in the body. And what happens again? The more the oxygen intake in the body, the more the body is very progressive. It moves a lot. I mean, you become more active because the more active you are, the more oxygen intake you take in, and the more oxygen intake you take in, the more you're relieved of even stress, just as a portion of it.
And the more the dopamine is released.
And the more the dopamine and the in fact, everything goes up. And then when you take ginsomin, man, it really boosts. Really boosts when you're relaxing, and it'll settle a bit. It'll just deal with the part where you miss one or two things.
Yeah. And sort of supplements for that.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's touch on another type of health that's involved with performance anxiety.
Hello.
My brother, you know.
Hello.
And ginsomin also helps with that, you know what I mean? Let's talk about sexual health, bro. We don't talk much on sexual health on this podcast, and it's, you know, that's been to our detriment. So performance anxiety among men and the relationship between performance anxiety and erectile dysfunction. Discuss 10 marks.
As I've said.
Tell us
no
about
warm up.
it.
Yes.
No warm up.
Yeah, no
All
warm
right,
up. Just
all
jump
right,
in.
all right, all right,
Discuss
all right.
10 marks.
Yeah, it'll do the same. You'll have a very low testosterone production
Why? Why do you have low testosterone production?
because of stress.
Serotonin.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. We need Eli back from Mombasa.
Please carry on, please carry on. Sorry. I'm so immature. Carry on, please.
Stress.
Yeah.
Stress is the biggest factor here. Because when a man is stressed, ladies don't expect him to be performing in bed. Unless he's on drugs. Okay, also on drugs, no. Please.
Careful
See him
now.
doing the dance.
No. I mean it. It goes I mean, all of it is in the mind. Like, you want to have a good time, please see a therapist first. Then from there, believe you me, you'll perform on a very high-end performance.
Okay. When we say therapist, do we mean sex therapist or?
No, first of all, we deal with the emotions first.
Okay.
Yeah, before you start.
It's an emotional activity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nah, you know, I don't know. I'm just asking the professional in the room.
Yes.
You know, Steve,
Yes.
let us know. When you're going through these types of therapies with men, as a man, should men be comfortable to talk to you as a man about their sexual life?
Yes. Yes. Very much. Because you see, in my profession, we are, first of all, very, very serious on confidentiality. Okay. Secondly, unconditional positive regard.
Oh, I like that.
What's that? Hey, say that. Say that again.
Yeah.
Unconditional positive regard. I accept you as you are, for who you are, with who you are as a self. I don't take you and, judge you. No. We don't do that. We don't do that. You come as Eli, I take you as Eli, and I enter into the world of Eli.
Yeah.
In fact, I become your buddy. We go together, and we now show each other where needs to be done, what one.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
It's like you take a walk into someone's life.
Yeah, we are with you. It's a journey.
Okay.
Mental health is a journey. So we come together, we hold hands, and we go together. Okay. You tell me this is alerting me, then we go address it together. And in fact, we help each other. You tell me this is what was wrong, so you know what was wrong.
But most men are not honest about their sexual health, especially I can imagine in the situation where we're talking about erectile dysfunction. What can we do as men to kind of create that enabling environment where men can seek help when they need it? Other than drinking ginsomin, which we 100% recommend. Yeah.
If you feel that talking to someone is a challenge, see a doctor. See a doctor. Yeah, I'd rather you see a doctor who will now help you from the medical point of view. And if you see a doctor, they can tell you now, maybe you need to do 1, 2, 3 things. Yeah. But if that doesn't work, I can ask you to be honest enough and challenge yourself and see a therapist. Yeah. Challenge yourself.
Take charge.
Take charge, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. One thing I'd say as well is I think guys, especially if you're a high performer, you just then look at intimacy as a performance again. You look at it as a competition. You're not looking at it as actually a moment in your life, because a lot of guys, they're there physically, but they're not there mentally. They're thinking, "What have I done this good?" And they're not taking the time to actually be like present. And I think that's where it will sort of links into, because it's supposed to be.
Yeah, because you don't really, you're not giving yourself. It's like, am I performing well in bed?
Yeah,
the thought is
it's am I performing? So now it's exactly.
Oh my God, yeah.
So it's like a task. It's like no, I'm not gonna say that, but yeah. It's like a task, like who's winning, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
see
such
what
a
I mean?
good take.
It's true.
That's such a good take because I feel like it's true.
It's true,
I
but when you
feel
let
like
when you let go of it, you stop thinking about all those things, and
then you actually
yeah,
perform.
you perform.
Because like if you keep thinking, then you won't perform.
It's back to the football thing.
You're
I
not
said
a
at the
good
beginning.
lover because
Yeah.
like you're constantly thinking
about how am I loving?
How am I loving?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
such a good take.
It's the exact same thing I was saying about the football.
Yeah.
Like when I'm playing, I'm not here, so I can't do what I normally can do. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
a good take. That's a good take.
Yeah.
Another take is also the capacity for men to lie about their sexual performance.
They can't wait to tell the story.
You know,
they can't wait.
boys. I was just
Yeah.
hey, like, hey,
Exactly.
calm down.
And it becomes about you, not even about the person. Like,
Yeah.
how have I come out of the situation?
Yeah, it's you sleeping with her.
Exactly. We said this on the. Yeah, exactly.
It's you sleeping with her.
Yeah.
It's not like a shared experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like that's why you would probably not perform instead of making like paint the picture together.
Exactly.
You know, you're there.
It's how good do I look?
Yeah, you know,
No,
you're
that,
there
what's that film?
thinking-
Where he's the American, the American Psycho.
Yeah.
Exactly. Looking in the mirror. Yeah.
You become like Usain Bolt. You're like 10 seconds or less. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Moving on. So that's the line. Nope. So yeah, I think that's a fantastic place to wrap up. Unless you had something to add on the
Yeah,
sexual
so
experience.
I was
a story,
saying-
if you will.
Well,
Yeah, the man's about to tell us a story. Did you have ginseng in? Did it change your life? Change your evening?
Sips water. A ginseng cup, no less.
Well, he took charge.
Parting thought. Parting thought.
Yeah.
okay, as we wrap up on the sexual part of it, it's not a must to be all this performing because all this comes from the ego.
Yeah.
I just hate it. It's on the ego.
Yeah.
It's just on the ego.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're just like branding yourself. You're like, you know what? I just want to give you an experience no one else can think of. You think that you want to do that, but on the other side of it, it's more of
An act of love.
an act of love. But to you, it's more of a theatrical art
Yeah. Performance. Yeah.
performance. Yeah.
Curtain close.
Hi.
Yeah. Crescendos.
You know, so,
Sorry. I'm immature. I'm sorry. Please carry on, Steve. Sorry.
thank you. Now,
You know, in my mind, I started to think about the merchant of Venice.
Oh no.
My pound of flesh.
You know we said we don't tackle this topic. This is why. This is why. Steve, save us. Save us from ourselves, please.
okay.
Wait.
Okay.
You were saying?
Back to it, okay? It's the ego.
Yeah.
Just be real.
Just be
Why
real.
are we there?
Just be real.
Why are we there? Why are we there? If it's theatrical arts, then you can apply. I mean, there's a place you can perform
Okay.
other than all this.
Let's see where you're taking
Yeah,
this.
let's
Okay.
keep going. Keep going.
Keep going, Steve.
Yeah, no, thank you. No. Yeah, if it's more about that, just know why. Why are we here? You know, why?
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Okay, good. So, Steve, I think I speak for the both of us when I say you've been a fantastic guest, my guy. Like, it's been really refreshing. And we've never had, this is the first time we've had an audience member from our talk. So, shout out to you. Shout out to you.
And the bar.
Yeah, you've set the bar really high, and thank you for bringing your credentials to the show. As Mantalk, we're really challenged a lot to talk about like mental health issues, and we've really always wanted to bring value to our audience, and that's our focus. We want to bring as much value as we can to the people who engage with our content and engage with us, and you're one of those people. And I hope that people reach out to you. We'll make sure that your details are below under the video, so that like they can come and chase you and kind of get to experience your skills firsthand. So thank you so much, my guy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Steve. And
Also,
no, please.
I would like to respond to Oscar, then I'll respond to Eli.
patient man.
Big man.
So I can say this. It's true. In life, we all go through ups and downs. And genuinely, you have really taken the cup on both lows and downs. And the only way you are headed is up.
Love that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Oscar, because I can tell for free, you're going somewhere. As a compliment. Thank you.
Yeah.
Where am I going?
Yeah.
Am I going somewhere too?
Mombasa again. Okay. Sorry.
My compliment, please.
Yeah, he's waiting for it.
You're saying something.
I'm joking.
As you can
I'm
tell,
joking.
Eli is
Yeah,
a
I'm
performer.
No, in all seriousness, thank you for your time.
Yeah.
You've been part of the community for a long period of time. You've come on, given us your hours, you know, during the live sessions, during Toxic Hour, and you've given good perspective. So thank you for doing it again today. And I hope guys reach out to you if they have any questions, issues, etc. Because like I said, you're a certified professional, so that's why you're here. And thank you for being amazing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that very high note,
before we go, obviously the topic was suggested by our amazing sponsors, Jinsamin. So thank you, Jinsamin. They are all about taking charge of your life, vitality, energy, and you need that, like we said, when you're trying to perform in every aspect. So personally as well, I've been doing it for about I've been doing it for around a week and a half.
Yeah.
I've seen energy boost. You said you started yours
I started mine like 2 weeks ago, slightly earlier than you.
slightly. Yeah, I remember you said, and you had that really good.
Then I had a really good one.
Yeah, and then you've taken Jensen
I mean, for years.
for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the, I constantly working and a lot of things when you do them together.
Yeah.
It helps, but personally, it you helps. The energy is up,
Through the day.
and also relaxation. There are a lot of relaxation, like you feel relaxed. By the end of the day, you won't be as worked up.
Yeah.
I think maybe you're feeling that also.
Yeah,
You're not as worked up as you were before.
And when you're trying to perform, make sure you're putting the right things in your body. So that's why we partnered with them. And thank you, Jinsamin, for sponsoring this. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Please share so more people get to hear these conversations.
Share.
Yes. We'll see you for one more bonus episode. I've told them there's one bonus episode coming of this season, so see you there.
Yeah, and you have no idea who's coming.
No idea.
No idea.
Cheers, guys.